And so, as expected, we have another association that is showing that President Biden will be signing off on the Social Security Fairness Act and the date. So let me show you guys that. Now, this is coming from the Texas Retired Teachers Association. It says, breaking news, the president will sign H.R. 82 into law on January 6, 2025. So if you guys don't know, this proposal will eliminate weapon GPO. It was passed by the House, passed by the Senate, and now the president's signature will make this a law. So I want to show you just here. It says, members of the Texas Retired Teachers Association, TRTA, we are pleased to inform you that President Joe Biden has announced he officially will sign H.R. 82 into law on Monday, January 6, 2025. TRTA expresses its deepest appreciation to President Biden for his support and swift action to sign H.R. 82 into law. So this is official now. I mean, they're saying that the White House is indicating that this is going to happen, and we've seen some different associations also say the same thing, that this is going to happen. So on Monday, we'll be back on Monday. So make sure you subscribe, hit that little bell notification. I'll give you guys all the info when it comes to the Social Security Fairness Act. And then we need to talk about what's going to happen next. I want to go over a few comments that you guys had and talk a little bit about some of the things that you guys are concerned about. One thing here, and this is Harold, says COLA should match inflation. And that's talking about the cost of living adjustment. If you guys didn't know, if you're receiving Social Security benefits right now, you're starting to see the increase for 2025. Now, it's not much. On average, I think it's like $50. And then when you look at Medicare, and the premium went up, so that was $10. So it's really, I mean, for a lot of people, they're not going to receive a large increase to their benefits. And so what Harold is saying is he thinks that inflation, or COLA should match inflation. The only real problem with this is when they do the calculations for the cost of living adjustment, they're doing it in July, August, and September of the year prior. And so it's hard to really gauge what inflation is going to look like that, the year after that. So you do the calculation on October, you come out with the number, and that's what we saw. And then in January, that's when you start seeing the increases. And so if inflation is higher in January than it was back in July, August, and September of the previous year, well, it's not going to keep up. Now, I do think when they do this cost of living adjustment, there needs to be a better method, because if you are using just those 3 months, and then when you get into the next year, anything can happen. Like right now, we're looking at the CPI score, we're looking at inflation, and inflation is higher than 2.5%, which means that so far the cost of living adjustments are not keeping up with inflation. So I would agree with Harold in what he's saying, but it's going to be hard to do unless they have some type of cost of living adjustment that, it does move up and down, where you receive a COLA and then maybe you see it increase if inflation starts to increase. That's the only thing that I can see. But other than that, there's really no way to do it where you're going to have the COLA be above inflation or be at the same level of inflation. Now, we could see a situation where inflation drops and your cost of living adjustment will stay the same. So, in just an example, let's say cost of living adjustment is 2.5%, and then we see inflation drop down to 2% or drop down to 1.5%. Well, now you're in a better situation because your cost of living adjustment is at 2.5%. It's going to stay at 2.5%. The only danger with making COLA more adjustable is that in a situation where it goes up, it will help you, but when it goes down, it might come down as well. And so that would be, I don't think a lot of people would appreciate that. So having it the way it is right now, I think is the only real solution at this point. But I just wanted to bring that up because someone did have a comment about that. Okay, another comment here we have from Michael. He says, my understanding is that, and he's talking about the Social Security Fairness Act, my understanding is that instead of a lump sum of the retroactive component, they are looking at spreading the payment out over 12 months. And so this is interesting. And so we don't know. Like, I don't know if they're going to do one big check or they're going to kind of spread it out. And Michael is saying that he understands that that's what they're going to do. Now, I don't know. It's not in the bill. The bill, all it did is eliminate weapon GPO. So I don't know exactly where Michael's getting this information from, but this could be accurate. I mean, we could be in a situation where they do spread it out. So let's go ahead and continue. It says, so these checks will be significantly larger until after that part of the distribution is complete. Then the standard increase monthly payments will continue from there. And so that could be the situation that we see. Now, I want you guys to let me know in the comments, would you like a lump sum payment for the whole year, or would you like them to give you an increase that's a little bit more every month? The only issue that I would have, and this is just me personally, if you give me a lump sum, I can do more with that, meaning I can invest that. I could, if I needed to pay off bills and all that, I can do that. If you're giving me a little bit every month, well, what I think some people might get used to getting that extra increase. It's much like the child tax credit. When we saw the child tax credits going out $300 or $350, depending on how old your child was, and that was going out every month, and they did that for 6 months. But then when it goes away, some people will miss that, okay? And so me personally, I would want just the lump sum, and then I would be able to do what I needed to do with that money. Okay, Thomas has a comment here. He says, coming Monday, January 6th, legit, one of the people who got this off the ground received an invite to the White House for the signing on Monday, January 6th. Okay, so people are starting to get invites. And I did see someone, I can't remember the post where I saw it, but I did see that someone did have an invitation. Okay, now I couldn't, I can't say that was an official invitation, but it looked official to me coming from the White House. And it was the date of January 6th for the signing of the Social Security Fairness Act. Okay, and this next comment here is from Arthur. It says, not only state and local government, the postal workers are federal employees too. And this is something I wanted to mention in a previous video. Postal workers, yes, they are impacted by the elimination of weapon GPO. So this is going to be good news for them as well. So I just think we're talking about 3 million people. So there's going to be a large group of workers that are going to be impacted by the elimination of weapon GPO. And I know you always hear the politicians say teachers, law enforcement, firefighters, and we know why they're saying that, because it looks good for them. Look, we support teachers, we support law enforcement, we support firefighters. But when we're talking about state and local government, we're talking about postal workers, they're also included in this because they're earning a pension. And so it's important to put those people out there too. Nurses is another. I had someone in the comments say, you never say nurses. So now I am saying nurses. So some nurses are going to be impacted by this. So I could spend this whole video just talking about the different groups that are going to benefit from the elimination of weapon GPO. I want to know if you guys are impacted by this. Let me know in the comments, and then also let me know what type of work that you do. And then maybe we can start talking about some of these different jobs that are impacted by the elimination of weapon GPO. So that's all I have for this video. If you guys have any comments, questions, or concerns, put it in the comments below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.